Okay, so I'm back again. I did the outline again. You could do it with charcoal. Charcoal works well. I did it with my brush. I use Ivory Black where I kind of outline this. If you don't want to use the charcoal, and the brush strokes at the end should be watered down where there's more solvent and less paint. And you want to keep doing that. And you want to build up the tree in the background. These are all dry strokes with my brush. I didn't clean it. I started with my green, my Hooker's green, and then I just put my umber and my sienna brown on top. And now I'm just kind of coming in again with my ivory black and finishing the rest of these leaves. Okay. Now, if you want I want my tree to be pretty dead. If you don't want that, and you want it to have green leaves, this is the time that you would be adding the color of the leaves. This is going to be, it's a foggy kind of winter tree. You don't have to do it black. It could also be brown. It's up to you. You're the artist. Mine just wants to look like this. But the most important thing is you really want to dilute some of the branches that are further away. That's the first step. You can see how some of those branches are lighter. Okay, so once you kind of have all the drawing on, the next thing you want to do is when it's wet. And this is pretty a simple thing. If I was going to put now, let's do it. If I was going to decide that I wanted some kind of light source, again, only dry brush. And I'm going to add a little bit of tea white to that. And I'm going to have some kind of light coming up here. Let's just pretend. I'm going to put the light in now. Very simple painting. Okay. Has a little bit of yellow. Nothing special. And you could put something here like orange if you wanted to do that. I'm probably going to change this. I should have had this a little bit lower because to me it looks too happy and bright. But that's okay. So what I'm going to do is next I'm going to use my fan brush, and that's a brush that's shaped like a fan. And this I'm going to dip in my water and wipe it off on my rag. If you're using oils, obviously you would dip it in your turp, pick up a little bit of linseed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go across here, and I'm going to pick up a tiny bit of Mars Black. So now on the edge of my brush, it's kind of like gray. And I'm just going to kind of feather it across. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to feather it across like this. Okay? So I'm applying it, I'll show you, like this. But I'm feathering it across. So I change the way I'm holding the brush. I'm putting it on like that, and then I'm changing it. And I want to feather over it very lightly first, and you really want to wait till it dries. But this is a fog, so I'll show you what happens to the trees when I start doing that. And this is just the first layer. We'll probably have like about 10 layers. And see how light it's getting. Okay? And again, you want to work wet on wet, and the most important thing is the first layer has to be, when you're doing the trees, you want to make sure that the edge of the trees are very transparent by adding more of your solvent, right? And the branch is darker. Of course, this has more paint. And you want to use your fan brush. We're going to go across, just blending them. And we're going to keep doing that. Okay? And it's kind of important, again, you'll see when I applied the first layer. This was done with a dry brush. Now I'm putting this wet area, and I'm kind of blending this on top. Now I'm running into the yellow, and I'm feathering this back and forth. So I'm using my brush now like this. Okay, and I'm still picking up that a little bit of gray in my brush. And you want to keep doing that. And you want to figure out where the light source is too in your painting. And you want to feather it very lightly, and I'll show you why. If you know you mix green and black, you're going to get like an army color green. You'll see that this doesn't turn an army color green. Okay, usually when I have the students mix black and white, and the reason why is because this underneath was a dry brush. Even though I applied it and it was wet paint, it was a dry brush. So and you want to think about where the light source is. And you can see I haven't really reloaded my brush with any water yet, right? At this point. This is my first layer. And like I said, we have a lot of layers to do, but the first layer is really important. And you notice about fog, it doesn't catch every area, right? Some areas you might see in the fog that look really white. Okay, so I'm showing the student over here. That's why I'm going on a camera. Okay, so you see like some of the areas you're starting to see where they're really white and really gray. Okay, and we're going to continue all of that down, just picking up a little bit of Mars Black. I still have not, at this point, used water until now. Now I'm going to dip my brush in my water or whatever solvent that you're using. If it's oils, you know, your little bit of your linseed, tiny bit of terp. Not too much terp if you're using oils, because you'll remove it. You'll remove the color, and you don't want that to happen. And now I'm going to start feathering over this. And this is when I'm going to get rid of the fan brush, and I kind of want to put some clouds down here. Notice when you see the fog, you see clouds sometimes in the bottom. It's like misty, where you'll be able to see it through. So that's what I'm doing now. I want to start building it up heavier and heavier. Okay, so I'm going to leave this because I kind of like that feeling. And I want to blend this in, but I still see a little bit of this green underneath. And I'm going to go over it. Now it's going to drastically change. So this is what you have at this point. Not that exciting, right? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my fan brush and make sure to clean all your brushes. Put them in your solvent. And what I'm going to do is a round brush. Right? I'm going to dip it in my water. Just in my water. Again, if you're using oils, you're using linseed. And I'm going to go in these little circles. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to put that brush up, let this dry. Okay, and then I'm going to move to my hack brush, which is a wash brush. I'm going to dip it in here, and I'm going to go over it. And I want to let it dry at this point because it's pretty wet. Okay, let me show you. Boggy. Okay, and I'm going to let it dry for a minute. Right, if you have oils, you have to wait. And then I'm going to do layers only with my hack brush, with my tiny little bit of solvent, so it's a little bit of wet. But I'm not going to clean my brush. And I'm going to start picking up my white. And then I'm going to start layering it over. All right, so it's a little bit of solvent in there. So if you're using acrylics, you add white. If you're using oils. And I just want to lightly, and I want to show you what's happening to the bottom. Do you see how soft it's getting? The colors? Okay, and we're going to keep doing that, and I'm going to keep doing it, and I got to wait for it to dry. And I'll show you how I'm going to get rid of these lines. When it's semi-dry, I'm going to go with my round brush, and I'm going to keep going round, 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 round. And I'm going to keep building this up so it's really, really foggy. Can you see it, Brianna? I don't know. See the bottom part? Okay? So let me adjust the lighting, because I'm losing on your side. I don't think you can see it. Let's do that. Okay, there we go. Okay? So now I want you to try it. So everybody's going to try it. Just a step one. I'm going to keep working on this, and I'm going to show you how it's drastically going to change. And if you see me turning this way, it's because I'm talking to one of my students. I'm not talking to myself. Just in case you wondered on camera. Okay, so let's see how yours is going to come out. I'm going to work more on this. I'm going to build it up, but you'll see this foggy texture. Remember to keep using your hack brush, and you can do swirls if you want. You know, you can do it with the round brush, but don't cover it too much, right? Okay? Keep doing it. Remember, there should be a little bit of solvent, but you want it to disappear, but not totally, right? You don't want to lose. If you're having a really heavy fog, you know, you'd see some of those colors come through, but not a lot, okay? So you can see how I've now moved that green all around, and I have pretty good control of it. Do you see it now? How it's getting more foggier? Okay, so I'm going to work on this a little bit more, and I'll show you the next step.